Some of you might be wondering what exactly Cuesport is. Well, look no further, as everything you need to know is right here in this all-comprehensive guide to Cuesport in South Africa. Cuesport, otherwise known as billiard sports, involves the striking of a billiard ball with a cue on a cloth-covered billiard table bound by rubber cushions. SACS, which is the controlling body for Cuesport in South Africa, is also a member of SASCOC. In addition to this, they have launched a long-term participation development plan in which it aims to improve the quality of skills and training of its players within South Africa.
When we have a strong leadership that is passionate, that know what they are talking about, then it's easier for that sport to actually come to the fore. And I think we are in a fortunate position now with what we've got in Cuesport, because over and above developing the sport, they are also into community development. You know, in Turkey, there was a program that was shown about South African Cuesport, because they were competing to be one of the award winners for what sport can do and the environment. Because their program in the Free State it's worldwide, you know, it's known worldwide. And I think those are some of the things that help a sport to develop, that you attach yourself very closely to the community by taking on some of the challenges that communities have. And that's exactly what they did, to look at how the river down in the Free State has got sort of blocked up. And Cuesport then said, it's going to be our contribution to sport and the environment. And that put them really up there with some of the best programs in Africa.
Well, SA Cuesport basically is the controlling body of all disciplines of Cuesport in South Africa. And Cuesport actually entails playing a sport or a game that involves the use of a cue. The members of SA Cuesport in South Africa actually are pool, snooker and carom. Pool is further divided into the various disciplines, Blackball, world rules, 9-ball, etc., which are played on different sizes of tables. SA Cuesport is affiliated to SASCOC, the South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee, and is funded to a very limited extent by Sport and Recreation South Africa. Those disciplines, Cuesport disciplines that are eligible for Protea colours or national colours, have to make their application to SASCOC via SA Cuesport.
There are various types of billiard sports, including pool, snooker and carom. The first one we'll be taking a look at is pool. Pool is played on a 6-pocket table, and this table can be 7, 8 or 9 feet long. Some of the better known types of pool include Blackball, world rules, 10-ball and 9-ball, which is the dominant professional game. There are 2 types of pool that are commonly played on a 7-foot table. These are Blackball and world rules. Blackball consists of 16 balls in total. These include a white cue ball, 7 red or solid balls, 7 yellow or striped balls, and 1 black 8-ball. The aim of the game is to claim a suit and then try to pocket all of your balls, while simultaneously denying your opponents the opportunity to do the same. And if this isn't difficult enough, players need to also avoid sinking the 8-ball by accident during the course of the game. In comparison to Blackball, 9-ball is played on a 9-foot table with 9 object balls and a cue ball. The object balls are numbered from 1 through to 9. The balls are played in ascending numerical order, and the player that legally pockets the 9 balls wins the rack. In other words, the players at the table must make legal contact with the lowest numbered ball on the table, or a foul is called. 9-ball is usually played at a professional level. The World Pool Billiard Association and the Billiard Congress of America publish the world standardized rules for this game. If you're a person who enjoys excitement and fun, then you would probably find that artistic pool is a lot more interesting than Blackball and 9-ball. Artistic pool, which is otherwise known as fantasy billiards, is a billiard discipline in which players compete by performing 76 shots of varying difficulty. These shots are preset, and each shot has a maximum point value assigned to it. These points are awarded to the player if they execute the shot perfectly. Snooker is a game that is played with cues on a billiard table. The player uses a white cue ball to pocket the other 22 balls in a set order. The other balls consist of 15 red balls, which are worth 1 point each, and 6 colored balls. The yellow ball is worth 2 points, green is worth 3 points, brown is worth 4 points, blue is worth 5 points, and pink is worth 6 points. Finally, the black ball is worth 7 points. Now, although this sounds a lot like the lotto, we can guarantee that snooker is much more rewarding. Snooker is played on a 6-pocket table, which is known as a snooker table. The dimensions are less than 6 feet by 12 feet. To start the game off, the red balls are placed in an initial triangular formation, while the colored balls are placed on positions that are marked on the table. These are otherwise known as spots. A good break happens when you deny your opponent the opportunity to pot from that break. Each player executes shots by striking the cue ball with a cue. This causes the cue ball to hit a red or colored ball, and points are secured by knocking these balls into the pockets in the correct sequence. A player may also receive additional points if the opponent commits a foul. A player or team wins the game, which is otherwise known as a frame, if they score more points than the opponent. One thing to keep in mind is that although they are similar, snooker has a different historical development from pool. It also has separate terminology and culture that characterizes the game. The word carom means to strike and rebound, but unlike pool and snooker, carom is played on a table without any pockets, usually 10 feet in length. The object of the game is to carom one's own cue ball with that of the opponent's cue ball and the object ball. This is done using a single strike. There are several variations of carom, including bulk line, straight rail, cushion caroms, 3-cushion billiards, and artistic billiards. Now, what some of you might not realize is that Cuesport has been played professionally in South Africa for the past 25 years. And if that doesn't surprise you, then you might be interested to know that it is the 3rd most popular participation sport in the country. Historically, there has never been any funding for the sport, which has led to a decline in membership and a lack of development and growth nationally. However, more recently, we have been able to secure small sums of money from the National Lottery Board, the SRSA, and private sponsors, which have helped drastically to keep Cuesport afloat. Cuesport disciplines within South Africa execute the sports policies that are encouraged by the South African Sports Confederation and the Olympic Committee. The aim of these policies is to make sure that Cuesport are accessible to as many South African citizens as possible. Cuesport is striving to establish clubs and hold leagues in all districts and municipal boundaries within the country. Furthermore, the emphasis is on high-level performance and mass participation. In doing so, it ensures that all communities in South Africa have the opportunity to participate in Cuesport.
As a family member, Cuesport is one of those members who are making a contribution. Because remember, what we do with sport is to ensure that we build societies. And whatever sport it is, whether it's yukskei or korfbal, really doesn't really matter. And Cuesport fall into one of those categories where they work in ensuring that we build a better society for South Africa. And that's how they fit into the whole picture, because that's what all the federations are trying to achieve. Social cohesion, and Cuesport is one of those federations doing that.
Not only is Cuesport played by professionals, but it is also beneficial for young children.
Overall, though, I think that the motor learning capacity of children needs to be looked at as well, and that really moving around, being able to move, knowing where their bodies are in space, that's really key, and I would like to think that would have more of an impact than just the cue sports. However, I do think the cue sports have the hand-eye sort of coordination and as well as the depth perception kind of effect for children. I think that's quite important for them to learn at a young age as well.
By making use of Cuesport, children are trained not only to look at what they see, but they are also taught to foresee what the outcome of their shot will be. Every shot in a game of pool, snooker or carom is unique. These games teach strategy and encourage logical and creative thinking. In addition to this, Cuesport teaches young learners how to refine their coordination, stroke and form. It teaches them to stop thinking and to rather engage with their senses for each shot.
So billiard sports are interesting because they're not like your usual endurance sports or team sports where a lot of physical capacity is needed. So a lot more technical ability is needed. However, I think when it comes down to visual capacity or sports psychology, I think that's really where the sports science impact can be more impactful on the sports.
A school provides a safe environment for children to participate in Cuesport. Cuesport is beneficial for young learners as it encourages dedication, patience, concentration, focus, decision making, and it also improves their mathematical ability. Blackball pool has a superb structure in place. The structure is recognised by the World Pool Billiard Association and is controlled by Blackball International, which is the governing body for pool which is played on a 7-foot pool table. Blackball International is also aligned to the IOC. Blackball is the only discipline of pool on the small table in which members can obtain protea colours and represent South Africa abroad. In 2006, the South African National Defence Force Blackball participants received the award as runner-up for the best sporting code in the Defence Force. And to top this off, in 2007, they were awarded the best sporting code in the Defence Force.
In the military, the players were used to playing snooker and pool and all sorts of billiard games in the clubs, but there were no official structure. So in 2005, a group of players from the Free State came together and they officially started to play pool at that stage, as known in the SANDF. At that stage they played the Blackball pool rules and they were invited to participate at the championships in Cuesport, which they then represented the SANDF as the only players who had to represent us. After that, in 2006, we had our first inaugurational Blackball Pool Championships, where all the provinces participated. We were around about 233 players, and that is where we had our first official SANDF Blackball Pool tournament. And from there on, every year annually, we have our championship where the players compete in all different categories, and the 5 best players of every category then get selected for the SANDF team, which then represent the SANDF at the SA Nationals every year on special invitation by the National Blackball Federation. Having a statutorized body and statutorized competitions, they can compete at the unit level, on provincial level, on national level, to then obviously obtain protea colours. That is one of the achievements. So with Cuesport being there as an official mechanism for these players to play together and to show their expertise and their knowledge, really made us really a sport to be reckoned with. One of our goals is definitely to maintain our participation at this level, and also to maintain our recruitment rate of new players coming in. The current tendency is that we grow every year between 20 and 30% every year of players coming in from other disciplines to play Blackball, which is a big achievement for us. Then of course one of our other biggest goals is to compete in the CISM Games, also known as the World Military Games, where at this stage no Cuesport is involved in the sport, but that is one of our aims, is to compete on the military games internationally.
The South African Police Services, which is also a member of the National Blackball Federation, takes part in the South African Blackball Championships annually. We recently caught up with one of their members to get their viewpoint on how Cuesport has an impact on the police department.
SEPS was basically invited by Cuesport when the world rules changed. So that's how we basically got involved. I must say, since we've been involved with Cuesport, the sporting code has grown tremendously. We had a lot of new players. We were more organized as subs Cuesport or Blackball. We also had new provinces like Limpopo and Mpumalanga that came in and joined us. That was not organized. And also we produced two protea players since we have joined. We would like to expand the sport itself in the subs. It is a bit difficult because we've got members that are working daily. We intend to have new and up-and-coming players. We intend to expand the totals, and we also intend to stay committed to Cuesport for the remainder of the period that it's in existence.
Now everybody knows that university sport is an entirely new ballgame. University sports are unique and dynamic. It is because of this unique nature that the Ministry of Sport and Recreation South Africa and SASCOC have decided that the sport should be administered independently. University Sport South Africa took part in the 2014 and 2015 South African Blackball Championships. These championships were held at the Grand West Casino in Cape Town in February 2015. And if this isn't exciting enough, then you'll be pleased to know that the USSA Super Pool Blackball Championships will take place from the 30th of November to the 4th of December 2015. Some of the championship contestants include the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Rhodes University, the Tshwane University of Technology, the University of Johannesburg, and the University of Limpopo. University Sport South Africa's programs are structured in such a way as to facilitate and improve opportunities for all students to acquire the necessary sporting skills to compete at all levels. The USSA strives to create an environment that will encourage student sportspersons to strive for excellence on both an academic and on a sports level, while simultaneously giving them the opportunity to interact socially and competitively.
When we started University Sport South Africa under USA Super Pool, we were playing pool as an ordinary students who used to play pool without rules and everything. But however, in 2000 and a few years back, when we were introduced to the NBF and the president of the NBF, we were told about the rules that govern this sporting code. We became interested in partnering with them. Then when we started partnering with them, what came out of everything was that we took this sporting code from the informal way and put it in a formal way, by way of coming with the rules that will govern this sporting code. When we used to play before, we used to play with no rules that govern everything. There was no a uniform that we used to wear when we play this wonderful sporting code. But however, after partnering with them, everything went from informal to formal, by way of introducing rules, by way of making sure that you don't just approach pool table, a table with as an ordinary person. When I talk about an ordinary, I talk about in a situation where we used to play wearing tekis, whatever that you wear, you wear legitimate to can be able to play. But after the introduction of everything and after the partnership, everything went to a formalized way.
Everyone knows that success requires lots of hard work and practice. That is why various disciplines of Cuesport have decided to play weekly league matches on a team or individual basis. Selection to participate at a national level is usually determined by a player's performance during these matches and at a club and provincial level. The Billiard Premier Leagues is an independent pool league consisting of some of the nation's most electrifying and talented cuists. Every detail of the Billiard Premier League has been carefully thought out by some of the country's most influential individuals. These individuals have acquired over 50 years of experience in all aspects of the game. When it comes to the marketing and promotion of Cuesports, these individuals are guaranteed to possess world-class experience. Sparing nothing, they have ensured that the fans will be as involved in these leagues as the players. Fans can get involved in the live streaming of matches and online betting. And if this isn't enough, fans are invited to attend the matches in person and shadow their favourite players while they tour the nation. SACS is continuously striving to create opportunities for participants to compete at a national level. Cuesport disciplines in South Africa annually hold their South African championships in various divisions. These divisions include men, women, seniors, masters, and juniors. When it comes to training and coaching, the LTPD and LTCD form the cornerstones of the participation and coaching policy of Cuesport in South Africa. The aim of these programs is to maximize the potential, skills, and involvement of all Cuesport athletes and participants. An international Cuesport coaching workshop, which was funded by the SRSA, was held at the Wondrous Snooker Club in Gauteng early February 2015. Nick Barrows, an internationally recognized billiard coach, conducted this workshop. During the workshop, 16 participants from pool and snooker were trained as coaches. Their task is to train coaches at provincial level in the hopes that they will be able to take these players and the game to a whole new level. And so it is evident that Cuesport in South Africa is excelling and reaching an all-new level. Not only is the industry already at an international standard, but now industry professionals are hoping to take their participants to the global stage and the Olympics. In my opinion, if we continue to grow and succeed at the rate at which we are going, there's no doubt we will one day be able to reach these goals.